How important do you think it is to care and love the people you're working with?
It's everything.
And do you think it's made a difference in your career as an MD, as a doctor, as an oncologist?
For sure.
Okay. Where to go from there? Because you've said some things like, wow, this is a really good episode. I made some notes over here. We should have a call-in show. People can call in and ask, okay, all these questions. Okay, let's go back to what kind of epiphanies when people, you said, figured it out. Can you share anything with us about your observation about how they got to happy?
Well, I think the first thing is gratitude.
Mm,
That people suddenly have a true appreciation for this life, this body, this experience, the relationships. It just becomes so clear what we take for granted every day,
mm,
when you
yeah,
become sick. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see people who get it are it's appreciation.
yeah. When I had the big C recently, and I'd messaged you, you're MD. I wasn't asking you
Hmm.
for medical. I was just talking about something. I don't know what it was, and we laughed about it. But you've been with me. I had heart failure last year, which, according to the cardiologist, I'm completely healed from. I'm supposed to be sick for a lifetime, is what doctors told me. I'm not sick for a. I have a stronger heart than most people now, but the doctors said this is a lifetime condition and all this. No, and then I had a hemorrhagic stroke, and I talked to my neurologist yesterday, and it's interesting. He goes, "You had a really weird stroke." He goes, "We don't see that much." He goes, "It's very rare." And it wasn't major. I mean, it was, people don't realize, and 30, I think 1/3 of Americans die from strokes. The numbers are crazy, or it's a large amount. They die of strokes. It's crazy. And our system, like my doctors, all the doctors tried to keep me in fear all the time. They tried to make me a victim to their beliefs and what they thought about what the medical books and medical research said. And I think that's all very valuable. You need trauma doctor, whatever, oncologist, go. You need that. But do not let the system victimize you. Is that the right word?
Victimize.
Okay, matize. I pulled a George Bush on that one. But victimize you. Okay, it's been a long day. I mean, I've done things all day long, so my brain's a little tired. But is there anything else that you want to share about your path? Because this is the big, Katie, so many people, they're just not happy. Let me ask you this. Let's go here.
Can I say one thing
Yeah,
about
yeah,
what you just said?
absolutely.
So, what you just said ties into, when I had said, what do people who are facing the end of their life figure out? Like, appreciation is what you makes you really choose to enjoy this life, this moment exactly as it is. But what you just described is another aspect, which is around healing. And like true healing is really about believing what's possible and that our bodies are miraculous, and medicine, we're taught these confines, like what is not possible, to put things in containers so that you can dice and slice and categorize things. But true healing is so expansive that it doesn't fit in medicine. And so what you're describing is that oftentimes in medicine, we don't know what to do with that, right? But that is something that I see in patients who, I have patients who defy the statistics. And I used to wonder, I was like, is it just because they have a positive attitude? And it's like, no, it's because they believe it's possible. And like they really believe that, like deep down, which I think is hard to do in the system that we've created. We really, like you said, and I actually, since I've been in TCP, I think about we have to do informed consent, which is when we're going to do treatment on a patient, we have to tell them everything possible that could go wrong. And when I do that, I'm like, I wish I could do this and then just like erase it from their mind.
Yeah. Now,
Because
Katie, let's
basic,
talk here. Let's talk. This is huge for everyone listening. When I was in the hospital with the cardiologist, One of the cardiologists said this could be a lifetime condition. You might have 35% use of your heart. All these negative things. That's my informed consent, so to speak, you know? And I'm like, you're killing people. You know, you mean to do well, but you're killing people with your authority status and the power of words. And I'll tell you the truth, what I said mentally is I said to myself, to the doctor, you can take your diagnosis and stuff it up your ass because I'm not going to live by that's not how I'm going to live. And look at me today, but I'm supposed to be sick. This is where I'd like you to finish out and keep on going with what you're saying, but tie this into it also. One question. This will affect a lot. This will affect 50% of people listening or someone in their family. Let's say that someone, them or someone in their family, you just have the floor once I ask this question. It's yours. And I want you to show up as I know you want to show up, okay, that you're comfortable with your answer. The question is this, and we can apply this to all areas of our life also, but let's take health. Somebody's diagnosed with, you're sick, you're, cancer or this or that or this or that or this or that. What would you advise now, being a highly recognized MD, all these years of experience, and then knowing what you know now with healing, forget the medical establishment as best you can. What would you recommend anybody hearing any kind of news like that? You're their doctor, but you get to be any kind of doctor you want to be to heal them. Talk to them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I said to a patient today. So I saw a patient and she has breast cancer. She's got to go through the treatment. And I told her, I said, we're going to do our part and we're going to treat the, symptoms that you have. I said, but your part is to do the deeper healing. And then that's truly where your healing begins and ends. Like the stuff that we do to you is not healing you, it's kind of fixing and patching up. And I recommended a couple things for her. I told her, and now I recommend this almost to every patient if they're open to it, because not everyone who comes to see a Western doctor wants to hear all this, right? But if
Yeah.
I know they're open, so I recommend love yourself like your life depends upon it. It's like, this is the best place that you can start. And I recommend that, and in working on self-love and self-compassion, really taking good care of yourself. And I said, illness is an opportunity, right? There's opportunity in crisis, because when your world blows up because you have an illness, in my world, because you have cancer, it's an opportunity to stop and to reevaluate what is it that you want in this life and what's not working. So self-love, self-worth, it's foundational. This patient, I also talked to her about subconscious reprogramming. And I said, what you've learned between ages 0 and 7, it's programmed into your mind. And no matter what you do in terms of your thoughts, if those things that have been programmed underlying are repeating a loop that is unhelpful for your emotional, mental, physical well-being, you can do thought work all day long and kind of do all the things and not make progress. So I recommend hypnosis. For anyone with cancer, Bruce Lipton's books are great, and it really describes and explains this whole concept of subconscious on cancer specifically. And then, Anita Moorjani's book, I love it. Yeah, she is just incredible. And I think I recommended her book to a woman that I saw last week who has metastatic breast cancer. And she's an example of, she was dying of lymphoma. She had, golf or tennis ball sized tumors coming out of her neck. And basically
the book, Anita Mugliani's book, she's the one who was dying of lymphoma. So
exactly. Yeah. Anita Moorjani, Dying to Be Me is the book. But it's such a good example of where she was dying. She actually died and then came back. But as she came back, she believed it was possible. And all of those tumors just
went away,
like dissolved.
And doctors were shocked, meaning medical science evidence was shocked that somebody could be dead and come back and the body heals.
Mhm.
And that's what happens when we what, Katie?
We believe.
But we love ourselves.
Oh, love
Every-
ourselves. Yeah. And believe
Everything
it's
is love.
possible. Yeah.
Everything is love.